Happy New Year, everyone!
Happy New Year to everyone. It is now 2022, and in today's video, we're going to tackle something that I'm sure has crossed all of our minds with this new year. We're going to be asking ourselves a very familiar question of, how am I going to make this year better? How will I make this year different from last year? In other words, what's my New Year's resolution? And here at LitePsych, we've decided to give you a hand and help you on how you'll approach this question. Because today, we're going to find out how to find meaning in your life. Hi everyone, I'm Jim, and this is LitePsych, the latest psychology in simple terminology. People often think that the meaning of life and finding meaning in life are the same, and they're not. Let's talk about the meaning of life first. Finding the meaning of life is basically finding the answer key for your existence. I guess it's the psychological or philosophical equivalent of finding the Deathly Hallows, or getting all the Dragon Balls, or finding and using all the Infinity Stones. Once you find the meaning of life, the answer, then you're set. All you have to do is follow it, and it'll be a great life for you. But that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about is finding meaning in life. And finding meaning in life is a more subjective experience and is more of a mental state more than it is an objective thing that you have to search for and look out for. And this experience is quite common, contrary to popular belief. It might be that time when you finally get your diploma, you looked at the crowds of people watching you, and you take your bow. After 4, 5, 6, or 7 years of hard work, you've made it. You finally gotten your degree. Or maybe it was at that moment when you first got your paycheck that the X years of education you had finally led to this moment when you can spend the money that you earned whatever way you want to. Finding meaning in life is when we're able to say that our lives make sense and that they matter. It's when we feel some sort of significance or purpose, like finding the calm in the storm of everyday living. It helps us understand that everything we've gone through had some purpose, and it makes sense, and it led up to this moment, so it's all okay.
Amen.
So bearing that in mind, it's important to note that finding meaningfulness in your life is highly subjective. What I might find meaningful, you might not find meaningful. But our goal here today is for us to discover what makes up meaningfulness and how can we find more meaningfulness in our lives. So if philosophy describes meaningfulness as something magical, almost always out of reach, something so profound, well, at least for this study and for psychology, it is something that's within your reach and something that we can experience in our everyday lives.
Oh, thank God.
There are 3 facets that make up meaningfulness. The first of which is comprehension or understanding. Simply put, we find meaningfulness when we can say that, hey, I get it. Things make sense. It's this idea where we can see the connections of everything on how A led to B and B led to C, and how there's a continuity in everything that happens. That we can make sense of our life as chapters that make up a story as opposed to jumbled up puzzle pieces that don't really make sense. Not understanding things freaks us out. If you happen to get lost abroad for the very first time and you didn't know the language and you had no friends or no internet and you didn't even know the city layout, I'm sure that you were distressed and it felt like nothing made sense. And in the same breath, when things just lock up and connect to one another, it really helps us in finding meaning. The second area is purpose, and we often use purpose and meaning interchangeably, where we think that if you have a purpose, then your life has meaning. But that's not always the case. Having a purpose actually leads to meaning in life. And purpose here is defined as when we behave according to our own goals, values, and principles. When we think about our purpose, it gives us time and space to reflect on who we really are and how we want to improve and develop ourselves into the version of whoever we want to be. And that is exactly what happens when we create our New Year's resolutions. Whether it be hitting a target weight or starting a new hobby, creating a business, once you double down on that purpose, then everything just aligns itself with that goal in mind. Our thoughts, words, behaviors, everyday habits all shift with that purpose at its core. Having a purpose sets a theme for your life. So if your New Year's resolution was to be healthier, then maybe you'll start by ordering less fast food and then transitioning into cooking more home-cooked meals and perhaps exercising every other day until you reach to a point where you exercise every day. The New Year's resolution, the purpose, greatly influences the everyday decisions that you make, and having that purpose contributes tremendously to finding meaning in life. The last facet of finding meaningfulness is this idea of existential mattering or finding significance. It's when we believe that our life counts for something, that our existence has an impact or will have an impact to the world. We want to feel that our actions and our existence has an effect that is beyond just us and beyond our immediate environment. So those are the three facets of meaningfulness. So we want to understand things in comprehension. We want to have a unifying goal in our purpose. And we want to feel that our existence and our actions has an impact to the world. Now, to answer the question you've all probably been waiting for,
it's about time.
How do we make life then more meaningful? Science says that there are 6 ways to do that. You don't need to do all 6, but we will share all of them with you and hope that you can find one that is most relevant. The first technique is very simple and it might surprise you.
This should be interesting.
To find more meaning in your life, find the things that make you happy, that give you joy, that give you pleasure. Often when we look back and think, when did my life make sense? I'm sure that a lot of those moments were experiences where you were happy and when you're feeling great. Happiness and joy just makes us feel that there's meaning in our life. Number 2 is our social connections. We are often called social animals, social beings, and that is true because we have a basic need to belong. We give so much importance to the different relationships we have, whether it be at work, our family, our friends, our teammates, and whoever else. It's these social connections that become our rock and foundation through happy times and even the difficult times in our life. So having a strong, stable, warm, and reliable network of people that you can always go to can contribute significantly to finding meaning in life. Number 3, and this may not be for everyone, but a good number of people find that religion or their faith becomes a cornerstone for finding meaning. This is because faith and religion can provide answers to things that science or maybe just life in general can't. And these answers help us to make sense of our experiences, whether they be good or bad. It tells us what goals we should have or can have and situates us in the grand scheme of things, of what we can look forward to. And in most religions, it gives an infinite meaning to what is truly a finite existence for people. Number 4, and quite possibly my favorite.
Oh, really?
To find more meaning in life, just be yourself. And I know this is easier said than done, but there is no greater pleasure in life than to act, think, decide, speak as you genuinely want to. Having a good sense of who you are and sticking with that sense of yours makes life just more meaningful. Authenticity is a key ingredient in having a meaningful life. Now, we all don't have superpowers, but we do have the ability to reminisce our past and look forward to the future. And bridging the past from the future can contribute greatly to the feeling that, hey, my life is meaningful. When we look back to the past, we get to see and understand that we are how we are right now because of everything that we've been through. It helps in forming an understanding of how we are right now. And thinking about the future makes us think of the past and everything we've been through, and now it makes us reflect on, okay, so what do I want to do next? Where is all of this headed to? Having that continuity from the past to the present to the future, knowing where we came from and how we are right now and where we want to go, will definitely help in finding more meaning. Now, this last one may or may not surprise you, but being aware of our mortality, our finite life, helps us find meaning. And maybe there are some people that will say, well, we're going to die, so I guess there's no meaning to it. And maybe that's true, but just hear us out.
I'm listening.
I'm sure at some point we've all been asked, if you're going to die tomorrow, how would you live differently? If at all. And for most of us, we would have probably answered that we'd spend our time differently and choose specific people to be with. And being aware of the reality of our inevitable death really pushes and nudges us towards making more authentic choices that reflect the things that we actually want to do and be around the people who we really cherish and love. It might be a little morbid, but recognizing our mortality is a wake-up call to live more authentically and decide how we really want to live our lives. To sum everything up, finding meaning in our life is actually not that difficult. We find meaning when we're happy, when we're well connected with people, in our faiths and beliefs, and recognizing our mortality, among other things. And this year, just like every year, and just like every day, is another opportunity for you and me to find more meaning in our lives. Again, Happy New Year to everyone. 2020 and 2021 have been a challenge for so many of us, but we've made it to the new year and fought a good fight. We hope with this new adventure ahead of us, we become more purposive and deliberate with the people, decisions, and actions that we do choose so that our lives can be more meaningful. Comment down below any questions you might have, and feel free to ask any psychology studies questions or really any personal interests that you'd like us to look into. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on our videos. Follow us at LitePsych on Instagram so you never miss out on the latest psychology in simple terminology. Again, this is Jim. It is 2022. Let us live more meaningful lives, and I will see you again next time.